Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Mr. Karthik.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. How about you, sir?
Doing great, ma'am. Thank you so much. Good to see all the children out here.
Absolutely, children. We are indeed delighted to have amidst us Mr. Karthik Krishnan, who is a principal of the Surana College, PU. Pina, he was the youngest principal at the age of 25 and the youngest business head of Diksha at the age of 30. He's handled the operations of 7 Diksha campuses across Karnataka. And not just that, he's a wildlife enthusiast, a theatre artist, and I think etc. etc. I think the list just goes on with Mr. Karthik. It's such a pleasure to have you with us. And children, we will have an interactive session with Sir. You can ask your questions as well. Please raise your hands on and we will have a short time in between for question answer session. Until then, let's take this opportunity when Mr. Karthik is sharing his wisdom with us, and let's just use it to the maximum. All right. So we look forward to the session, sir. It's all over to you.
Thank you so much for a very warm introduction, Chitra ma'am, and a very good afternoon to all the budding kids out there. I know you had an option of dozing off. The weather seems to be really gloomy. You could have just pulled your rug and slept, and you had an option of joining in to this session. You chose the latter. I'm definitely sure at the end of this session you will go out with a lot of things to ponder over, and at the same time you will go out knowing yourself better and trying to understand yourself better. So that's what this session is all about. So I would just give you a brief idea about how the session would proceed so that you get an idea of where you can pitch in. I have a few slides that I would be sharing for you with the topic that's there in front of you. Post this, I will be giving you an opportunity to ask questions. Now there will be an opportunity where you can ask me questions, but for that I want you to ensure that you write down the question. Once all the slides are done, then I will give you opportunity to ask questions, n number of questions, as many as possible. I'll be very, very happy to really share what bit of information that I have. All right, I hope I have children who are in your 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. I don't know which section you are in, which class you are in, but when you look at the first slide here, the first slide says, what after 10th standard? Now, most of you who are in your 6th, 7th, 8th might be wondering, hey, why am I sitting in this session? I'm not even in my 10th standard. Now, why do I need to sit through this session? You might be wondering why you are actually sitting through this. But I'll tell you why it's important that you need to start early, especially when we talk about careers. Now, what you need to understand is this is going to be the way the session would be progressing. We will first try to understand the goals. Then we look at career path determination. Now this might sound too big, but don't worry. I'll make it very simple for you. How do you determine what is the career path that you should choose? We look at PUC education slightly at a glance and the way forward. Now this is going to be the agenda for today's session right now. Before I go ahead with the session or go ahead with what I really want to communicate, I have two very important facts, and these are facts that it's a hard reality. What is hard reality? Fact number one. Before I proceed, am I audible? Can I just have a show of hands? Can I have somebody telling me, yes sir, I'm audible? All right, Puvi, thank you so much for raising your hand. This is just a confirmation. Otherwise, I'll keep on talking and I'll not be sure whether you're listening to this or not. Thank you so much. Thank you for the ones who raised your hand. So the fact number one, or hard reality number one, what is this? This slide talks about the first job. Now, what is the hard reality with respect to the first job? The hard reality with respect to the first job is Your first job depends upon the course you take after 12th standard. Very, very important and a hard reality. Most of us are still enjoying our childhood. We are enjoying our student life. And sir, you are talking about the job. I'm not even bothered about my job right now. That's what you're wondering. But the hard reality that you need to remember is your first job, whatever job you land up for the first time, it will be directly dependent upon the course that you choose after your 12th standard, which means what course you choose becomes extremely crucial. And how do you choose a course? For that, I would proceed to hard reality fact number 2. And what's this fact? I want you to closely look at this statement. You will have to do a job for at least 30 odd years. Now, this is a hard reality. Whether you like it or not, if you start your job at the age of 25, you will have to do it for at least 30 odd years, assuming you retire at the age of 55. Now, why is this fact very important? This fact is important because if you need to do a job for 30 long years continuously, you will face these two scenarios. You will either hate your job or you will either love your job. Now tell me honestly, the 30 odd years that you will be in a particular profession, you will enjoy those 30 years only when you take up a job that you love. For example, I love to talk and I am in one of the best professions which gives me an opportunity to talk. I'm a teacher. As a teacher, I keep talking and talking and talking, which is what I love to do. You ask me to do this for the next 20 years, I'll be very happy to do it. On the other hand, I hated mathematics. If I had landed a job which was filled with numbers, which was filled with analysis, I would probably not be enjoying the job out there. So very important, if you need to really work continuously for a long time, you will have to love your job. So it's your choice whether you hate your job or whether you love your job. But I hope you pick up your first job and the subsequent ones after that such that you love what you are doing. Now I do understand. So how do I choose the job that I love? Sir, you just told me I need to work for 30 odd years. You told me if I will only enjoy the job if I love it. So how do I choose the job that I love becomes the next very important question. Some of us are like this, right? Let me make the decision later on. Just like the ones who are in 6th standard, 7th standard, 8th standard right now. The moment you saw the first slide, you're wondering, hey, why sir put the what after 10th standard slide? Now let me think about what after 10th standard the moment I come to 10th standard. Let me think about what after 12th standard the moment I come to 12th standard. Let me think about a job when I finish my studies. Now this is how most of us are. We will wait aram se such that we will ensure that we take a decision at the end. We always take late decisions. But remember, it's always important to start early. It is never next, it is never tomorrow, it is never later. Remember, it is always now. So whoever is there in this session, attending this session, and for whomever this video actually goes out to, you need to understand you have to start early. The moment you start early is when you will end up in a job that you actually love rather than a job that you actually hate getting up and going to. So how do you do this? So let's get started. Now the moment we get started, our mind is filled with a lot of questions. Now what is meant by a job? What is meant by a career? How do I know which job I love? How do I know which job I hate? How do I know which subjects I like? How do I know which subjects I would like to study for the next 10 years, 15 years? Now, these are some of the questions that you will definitely have. And of course, with all the initial slides that I have explained, you will have even more questions. Oh, is it so? But you need to understand, whenever you are confused, just relax, because each step in your life happens one step at a time. So right now, look at wherever you are, just take a decision one step at a time. Now assuming, this slide is basically for all the children who are there in your 10th standard right now. Yeah, so you are there in your 10th standard. So accordingly, you can calculate the years that is here. So these are the 3 basic steps that you need to climb. 2020-21, you are currently in school. Now again, I'm telling you, this is for the ones who are there in your 10th standard. The ones who are there in your 6th standard, 7th standard, and the other sections, you will have to calculate it based on wherever you are right now. So the ones who are in your 10th standard, currently you are at school. 2023 is when you will join a university. Now 2023 is the year where you will join a university. You will pick a course based on your choice or based on something else. That is something we will look at sometime later. Now what happens in between? From 2021 to 23, you will have to go through a 2-year, a very short phase. If you follow the state syllabus, then this is called as the pre-university phase. If you follow the ICSE or the CBSE syllabus, it's called as the 11th and 12th. So basically, this is what you have. You need to know what are the steps that you need to climb and take it one step at a time. Now, how to make a career choice? Now, this is one question that is there with everyone. How do I choose a career? What are the ways in which I can actually make a proper career choice? First thing you need to understand is your interest. Your interest in a particular subject or in a particular field will decide whether you will love studying this subject or not. So you will have to pick up a subject such that it will take you to a career which will be aligned with your interest. So that's the first thing that you need to remember. Second thing is aptitude. Now what do you mean by aptitude? Now aptitude is, do you have the required skill sets? You definitely have the interest. Super. But along with interest, do you have the required skill sets to do well in that job? Say for example, I aspire to be a cricket player. I aspire to be a test cricketer. And we know test match happens over 5 days. I have the interest in cricket, but I am not interested in staying in the ground from morning 9 o'clock till evening 6 o'clock for five whole days. I just want to play T20 where the match gets over in 3 hours. I wind up my bag, I pack my bags, I go to the hotel. If I'm like that, if my aptitude is like that, I will not be able to play test cricket well. If I need to play test cricket, if I need to be a very good test cricketer, I need to stay for the next 5 days without any injury, without any drop in concentration, without any drop in energy levels. That can only happen if you have the desired aptitude. Your body should be fit enough to go through that grind. So that's what I mean by aptitude. So interest and aptitude together will decide whether you will end up in a career choice that you love or not. The third thing that's there is called as SWOT. Now I don't know whether you have heard about it, but if you have not heard about it, SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunity and threat. Now you need to understand yourself in terms of SWOT. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are my opportunities? And finally, what are my threats? I will not spend more time on this. Probably we will talk about this sometime later whenever we get one more opportunity. I'll just give you one small example. I told you at the beginning of this session, I love to talk, which means what is my strength? My strength is I love to talk. So depending upon your strength, you choose what you want to do. My strength was talking, so what did I choose? I chose to become a teacher. where I'm using that strength. So likewise, you need to identify what are you good at, what is your strength, what is your weakness, what is an opportunity for you. Now, for example, this is an opportunity for me where I'm getting to talk to all you amazing kids out there. So this is an amazing opportunity for me. So like that, you need to understand in your life with respect to yourself, what are your strengths, weaknesses, what is your opportunity, and what are your threats. Most important, we spoke about goal setting in the agenda. Now, the moment you identify what is your interest, the moment you identify what is your aptitude, the moment you identify what your strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats are, you need to identify what am I going to do 5 years from now? What am I going to do 3 years from now? What am I going to do 8 years from now? That becomes a part of your goal. Goal setting is extremely important. Each one of you should have some goal or the other. Now, for example, some of us have goals like this. I want to become a doctor. I want to become an engineer. I want to become a chartered accountant. I want to become an aeronautical engineer. I want to become a pilot. I want to become a cricketer. I want to become a musician. So whatever it is, you should define your goal and it should happen right now. And how should your goal be? Your goal should be SMART. Now, what do I mean by a SMART goal? I've defined it in the right half of the slide here. S of SMART stands for specific. Now, when I say I want to become a doctor, that goal is specific. You're specifically telling everyone that this is what I want to do. Your goal should be measurable with respect to time. Your goal should be attainable. You should be able to attain it. Your goal should be relevant. Relevant based on what course you choose. Say, for example, your goal is I want to become a doctor. Then you choose commerce as your subject. Now, are these two relevant? They are definitely not relevant. If you want to become a doctor, you need to take up science. If you want to become a chartered accountant, you need to take up commerce. Yeah, so like that, it's very important that you choose something that is relevant. And finally, your goal should be time bound. Now, you need to keep a time. When you say I want to become a doctor, it's 2020 right now, and if you're in your 10th standard, you need to declare, hey, by 2028, I want to become a doctor. So you need to have a clear time frame for whatever goal that you choose. Now let's come to what is your interest. Now, based on your interest and aptitude, let's look at what are the various career options that are available for us. I want you to look at this slide carefully, because the ones who are in your 10th standard, you will get an opportunity to pick and choose any one of these based on what subjects you choose after your 10th standard. Post your 12th standard, you will be directly choosing any one of these fields or any other depending upon your interest and your aptitude. So based on interest and aptitude, what are the courses that you can choose? The first one is engineering, the second one is medicine, the third one is basic sciences, arts, commerce, law, humanities, and wide other options which are available. So these are some of the most popular options, courses that students take up. Now, how do I know where do I fit in? Do I fit into engineering? Do I fit into medical? Do I fit into art? Do I fit into commerce? Is another question that you will definitely have. For that, let's try to break it into smaller bits with the help of few slides. If you are somebody like this, now I want you to look at the upcoming slides like this. I will give a statement at the top of the slide. There will be a statement at the top of every slide. You find out whether you belong to that attribute or not. Whatever I'm mentioning there, do you really belong to that? Or if you belong to that, these are the possible courses that you can actually take up. So the first statement, I love coming up with ideas. if you are somebody who keep coming up with new ideas, then what can be your profession? You can either take up advertising, you can take up filmmaking, you can take up entrepreneurship. Now, what do I mean by entrepreneurship? You can start something on your own, like Flipkart, like Oyo, like Bounce, like Amazon. You can start something on your own. That's what is meant by entrepreneurship. Architecture. These are some of the things that you can do. Now, what should be your aptitude? Now, your interest is you love coming up with new ideas. What should be your aptitude if you want to stay in the advertising profession? You should have diverse ideas and artistic passion. That should be your aptitude. If you want to take up a career in filmmaking, you definitely need to be creative. If you're not creative, you cannot get into films. And you should have the ability to take risks, because filmmaking is something that takes a lot of risk. Entrepreneurship. If you want to start something on your own, then you need to be really very good with people, and you should be really optimistic. Now, when people keep telling you that your company will not work, your idea will not work, then if you say, oh yes, my idea will not work, then that's a disaster. You will have to have continuous optimism, which is what is meant by delusional optimism. Architecture. If you need to become a very good architect, what should be your aptitude? Your aptitude is you should be talented artistically. You should have that inclination towards art, and of course scientific reasoning. Clear? On the right hand side, I have mentioned few institutes which offer these courses. So what I will do is I'll be sharing this entire PPT with your team, with your school, so that you can use it as a self-reckoner. Now, depending upon what you love, depending upon what course you're looking at, you can look at the slides and find out which are the institutes that offer these courses out there. All right. The second one, I love creating something new. Now, are you somebody like this who always wants to keep creating something new? If you are something like this, if your interest lies in creating something new, then what are the career options that's available for you? You can take up art or photography, music or dance, writing, creative, where you can get into literature or creative writing, and acting, because you always have to keep coming up with something new in each one of these professions. Now, what should be your aptitude? If you want to do well in art or photography, you definitely need to have some amount of madness, because when you talk about photography, when you're talking about angles, from where do I need to take the photograph, which angle do I need to take it at the eye level, should I take a drone and then capture the shot, do I need to go underwater, take that picture? You need to really have that madness in you. You need to have that imagination. If you need to do well in music or dance, you need to have a genuine interest. Now, if you need to really grow in music and dance, you should have the genuine interest and physical stamina, because if you need to keep dancing for a long time, play music for a long time, your body needs to withstand that. So you need to really have a very good stamina. Writing. If you want to make a career out of writing, of course, you need to have a very good knowledge of the English vocabulary or whichever language that you choose, and you need to have tons of patience. Acting. For acting, what is required? Passion. You need to have the passion to act. And along with that, what else is required? Voice control, modulation, and diction. Now you can see the way I'm talking here. I can talk in two different ways. I can do something like this. I love creating something new. Art, photography, music, dance, writing, acting, some amount of madness. If I talk like this, you would have dozed by now. The way you can see the way I'm talking. I'm using a lot of body language. You can see a lot of facial expressions. You can see a change in my voice. This is what I call as voice modulation. For an actor, all these things are extremely necessary. And these are some of the institutes which offer courses in the relevant fields out there. I'll move to the next one. I love to make something beautiful. Are you somebody like this? Do you love to make something beautiful? If you are somebody like that, what all can you explore? You can explore design. You can explore animation. Animation is something that has taken over our lives, right? I know most of you are very sad that PUBG is not there today. PUBG is banned. Animation made PUBG possible. If animation was not there, you would definitely not be able to play all these amazing games on your devices or watch all the animated movies out there. So animation is one amazing profession where you can make something really beautiful. Now, what should be your aptitude if you want to get into design? You should be comfortable with technology and you should be able to deal with pressure. Yeah, so that's something that you need as an aptitude, as a trait, if you want to do well in design. And coming to animation, if you want to do well in a career in animation, you should be able to imagine. Your imagination should be really creative, and sense of visual space. You should know what should be your background, where should the tree be, where should the rock be. If you're talking about designing a game which involves shots, which involves firing from one end to the other, you should know how to position the opponents there, what are the various strategies that you need to keep thinking along all the different lines to ensure that you come up with an amazing animation. So what are the institutes? So there are two institutes, NID is National Institute of Design, exclusively which caters to design, and you have gaming and animation institutes as well. Let's come to the next one. I love to influence people. Now, are you somebody like this who always wants to influence people? Then these are some of the professions that you would really enjoy. Sales and marketing. This is one super profession. If you are into sales, if you are into marketing, imagine the salesmen out there, imagine the ads that come in your TV, how much they influence you, right? Clear? They do an amazing job at that. Education and teaching. You have such inspiring teachers in your school. You would have heard a lot of inspiring stories from them. You would get influenced from them, right? So teachers are very good influencers. So if you want to influence people, then you can either take up a career in sales and marketing, or you can take a career in education and teaching. Now, what should be your aptitude? If you want to take up a job in sales and marketing, you should like people. Very important. Say for example, you want to sell this mouse. You go to your customer and you tell the customer, hey, you want this mouse, take it. If you don't want this mouse, it's not my problem because I don't like you. Do you think the other person will buy this mouse from you? Never. So if you want to become a very good salesman, or you need to market, you need to like people. You need to talk to them in a way which they like. You should have the necessary social skills, and of course you should have the energy. If you need to become a teacher, if you want to become a teacher or an educator, then what should be your aptitude? Your aptitude is communication. You should be able to communicate your ideas effectively to people who are listening to you. And you should have the ability to nurture children. You should love children. If you have this aptitude and you have a love to influence people, you will become an amazing teacher. So there are institutes which offer these courses. Again, because of a paucity of time, I would not be spending much time on the institutions out there. Are you somebody like this? I love helping and caring for people. Some of us are like this, no? The moment we see a beggar on the road, we feel, hey, I feel really sorry for him, let me help. The moment you see somebody struggling, somebody who is going through pain, your heart melts. hey, I should really do something for him, or I should really help that person out. If you are somebody like this, you love helping and caring for people, what are the professions where you will really enjoy doing? First one is human resources. It's also called as HR, human resources. Second one is psychology, where you try to understand what other people are actually going through. And finally, you can look at social sector. You can help the society. If you when I talk about social sector, you can either look at a career in politics, or you can look at a career in administration or bureaucracy. These are some of the things that can come up in your mind. So if you want to become a good human resource person, you should be good with people and you should be good with aptitude. Psychology, if you want to pursue a career in psychology, you should have the empathy towards people. You should be really good in writing, and academically you should be strong. Social sector, if you want to contribute towards the society, take up something that will help in making this society beautiful, then you should have the enthusiasm, ability to play multiple roles. So these are some of the institutes which offer. Are you somebody like this? I love thought analysis and argument. Now, some of us are always like this, right? We keep arguing. No, it's not like that. You always want to analyze a given situation. Hey, why did that person not play? Now, it is time for IPL, right? The moment matches start, everybody becomes a coach at home. Everybody becomes a batsman. Everybody becomes a bowler. Hey, he should have bowled like this. Hey, why did he bowl a wide? He should have bowled a Yorker. No, why did this person really come on to bowling? Why did this person come on to batting? Hey, he should have not played this shot. Hey, why did he not catch the ball? Everyone becomes analytical. So if you are somebody like that who loves thought analysis and argument, what are the professions that you would love to do? You can get into journalism. Today, the moment you look at news channels, everyone is talking about one news item or the other, where they are involved in argumentation, they're involved in analysis. Social science and humanities and law. Of course, if you're a lawyer, you will have to defend people. And how do you defend people? Only when you have that analysis, the thought that how do I find out the facts? How do I present the case? How do I really help my client? And you need to argue the same in the court of law. So if you love thought analysis and argument, you can take up journalism or social science and humanities or a career in law. Now, what is needed for journalism? These are the things that's required. You should enjoy risk taking. You should be good at writing. You should love to work under pressure. Now, have you noticed the journalists who keep reporting the news on a daily basis, they keep working from different places. At times they work from Jammu Kashmir if there is a conflict. At times they work in flood hit areas giving us information. At times they work in hospitals where they are at very high risk of infections. So they should be risk taking and they should love working under pressure. If you are somebody like this, then you can definitely take up a career in journalism. If you want to make a career in social science and humanities, you should have the love for reading, writing for pleasure. If you are somebody who's very good at reading and writing, you can make a career out of social sciences and humanities. Then coming to law, if you want to become a lawyer, what's important? You need to have the ability to plan and strategize. So planning and strategy becomes important. You should be able to do a thorough research on all the cases that have happened so far, on all the rules that are mentioned in the constitution, laws, acts, all that. You should be able to do thorough research. And of course, communication skills. If you want to put across your point to the judge and convince him that my client is not wrong, then you need to communicate that effectively to the judge. Okay? So communication skills also become extremely important. I love logical analysis. If you love logic and if you love to analyze logic, then you can take up a course in information technology, which is nothing but the IT or the engineering sector. You can take up finance. You can take up data science and analytics. Now this is something that is really picking up right now. Data sciences and analytics, artificial intelligence, to be more precise, it is picking up. Engineering or medicine, if you really love logical analysis. Again, due to paucity of time, I will not go in detail explaining this slide for you. You can definitely reach out to me if at all you have any questions with respect to this. I love books. Is there somebody like that? Yeah. All right. So if you love books, yeah, Trisha, just I have three people who have raised their hands. I love books. If you love books, then a career in library sciences will really be exciting for you. Now imagine if you are somebody who loves books, you should be in a place which is filled with books. Now, which is a place which is filled with books? Of course, it's a library. Imagine if you are a part of a library, if you're doing a career in library sciences, your job will only be to read. Keep reading, suggesting to people that these are the books that you need to read. So a career in library sciences will really help you in doing that job for the next 30 years. Now what should be the aptitude if you want to take up a career out of library sciences? You should have a love for enabling people, keeping abreast of current news, and giving them information about which books to read, which books not to read, which books are mandatory, and all that. I love to apply basic science and improve quality of life. Now some of us are like this, right? I want to do something for our country, and the moment Corona came in, there are some of us who are like, I should be the one who should design a vaccine. I should have done something. I should get involved in basic sciences, do some research, and create a vaccine as quickly as possible. So many teams around the world are working on creating this vaccine. Now, who are these people? These are people who love to apply basic sciences and they want to improve the quality of life. Now, where all can you end up? If you are somebody like this, you can take up a career in forensic science or environmental science, because at the end of the day, you want to improve the quality of life. You can take up food technology. I think some of you are surprised, right? There is something called as food technology. You have learned about information technology. Is there something called as food technology? Yes, there is. And you don't need to go very far. Food Technology Institute is just close to our Bangalore city. It is there in Mysore. So in Mysore we have Central Food Technological Research Institute. It is called as CFTRI, where you can actually do research on food. Amazing, isn't it? So if you are a foodie, you want to taste different things, you want to create something new, you can either become a very good chef or you can get into food technology. So food technology, nutrition and diet, pharmacy, physiotherapy, radiography. Now these are again people who are applying whatever they learned, applying basic science to improve the quality of life. Hospital administration, nursing. Now imagine nurses out there on a daily basis. No, really, we need to thank these people. When we are staying at home in a very safe environment, the people in the hospitals, people in the healthcare sector are directly involved with the people who are infected. What really motivates them? It is their love to apply basic science and their love to improve the quality of life. Clear? That's what really motivates them. So these are some of the institutes that offer these courses. I love to be on the move. If you are somebody like this who always wants to keep moving. You don't want to just stay in one place. Some of us are like this, right? You are hating the corona pandemic. Why? Because you're just stuck at home. Hey, I cannot go out of my house. I'm not able to be on the move. While there are some of us who just want to stay at home. Happy. Corona is an amazing time for you because you are able to sleep well, you're able to eat well, just pull the rug and sleep and watch TV. Yeah. So there are different types of people. If you are somebody who likes to be on the move always, then what are the professions that you can look at? One, of course, you can become a pilot. Imagine if you are a pilot, you keep traveling from one place to the other. And if traveling is something that you love to do, you can definitely take up a career in pilot training. Mass communication, wildlife conservation. Imagine you love to be on the move and you have forests, you are involved in wildlife conservation. You keep traveling from one forest to the other. You are always on the move. Tourism. What better place to really love the world than travel? So if you love to travel, then tourism is one profession that you can definitely look at. I will not look at each one of these in detail. So with this, we have got an idea as to what is my interest, what do I love to do. Based on what do I love to do, what do I take up? Clear? So what are the various options that are available? I would just like to spend a couple of more minutes on the two favorite courses that students take up after their 12th standard. One is engineering, the other one is medicine. Now, what are the different disciplines in engineering? So in engineering, you have all these options, the basic options which are there. You can take up engineering in computer science or information science. You can take up engineering in mechanical. You can take up civil, architecture. You can take up electronics, telecommunication, or electrical. You can take up chemical engineering or bioengineering, biotechnology. So these are some of the commonly chosen courses under engineering after 12th standard. What are the different choices in medicine? Now, these are the various choices that are there in medicine. You can directly get into the medical profession. You can do your MBBS there. You can get into dentistry if you choose dental sciences. You can take up pharmacy. You can take up allied health sciences. You can take up physiotherapy, or you can take up nursing. So these are some of the choices that are available in the medical industry. So medicine does not just mean a doctor. Medicine means a lot of people who are helping the doctor, yeah, which all forms a part of whatever is mentioned in this slide. So what are the different disciplines in medicine? Now, when we talk about medicine, it's not only about MBBS. Now, you would have heard about Ayurveda, you would have heard about homeopathy, you would have heard about Unani. So these are the four different disciplines where you can actually become a doctor. Yeah. So this is just an insight into the two career options, engineering and medicine, which is one of the favorites among students. Now, what are the other options? You have multiple options. You can take up a career in political science, you can take up a career in human rights, catering, home science, yoga, you can continue a family business, you can get into counseling, you can get into banking. There is a course for speech and pathology as well. Civil sciences, geology, human resources, BPO, art and photography, security and housekeeping, and many such more courses out there. What I've just shown you is just a drop of the ocean. It's just like a well. I've just shown you the well, but the hard reality is career options is just like an ocean, vast expanse with multiple options out there. What's the next step for you? Now, the next step always after 10th standard is either you can continue with 11th in your own school, or you can look at choosing a PUC college, choosing a college after 10th standard. Now, what are the various options that are available for you at your PUC level? Now, if you are in the state board or studying through the state board, then there is either state or CBSE, there is some sort of rigidity, which means you cannot pick or choose subjects while you're studying in your 8th standard or 9th standard or your 10th standard. There are certain fixed number of subjects that you need to study by default. If you had opted for ICSE, then it gives you relative flexibility, some amount of flexibility where you can pick or choose. But if there is rigidity in whatever you are studying right now, PUC offers you the flexibility. Now, how does it offer you a flexibility? After 12th standard or after PUC, you can branch out into 3 major streams. Which are the 3 major streams? Science, commerce, humanities or arts. So which are the 3 major options that you will have post your 10th standard? Science, commerce, humanities or arts. Now, how do I choose, sir? What all will be there in this, and how do I choose becomes the next question. For that, let me just give you an idea about what all subjects you might study. If you take up science, you will be studying physics, you'll be studying chemistry, you'll be studying mathematics or biology or computer science or electronics. These are some of the options that you will be actually taking up. If you study commerce, if you choose commerce, then either economics, business studies, accountancy, computer science, basic mathematics, statistics, sociology, these are some of the courses that you will actually study under commerce. If you take up a course in humanities or arts, what are the subjects that you will study? You will either study history, you will study economics, you will study political science, sociology, psychology, etc. There's a lot of other options. I've just mentioned the popular options out there. Now, how do I choose? After 10th standard, when I am given an option to choose between science, commerce or arts, how do I choose? For this, let us do a quick experiment. Let's do a small experiment now. I want all of you to close your eyes. Close your eyes for a moment. Done? Yeah. So you have closed your eyes. You have your bag in front of you. Okay? I want you to just visualize whatever I'm telling you. You have your school bag in front of you. I want you to open that school bag. Open? Super. After opening it, the moment you put your hand inside, you see a lot of books there. You see a lot of textbooks from different subjects. I want you to pick the book that you love to read. I want you to pick the subject that you love to read. Did you pick? All right. How many of you picked mathematics? You can open your eyes now and raise your hand. Yeah, Sohan. Yeah, 5 participants. No, 5 of you raised your hand. 7, 8. Super. So all of you loved mathematics. And then my next question. How many of you picked English? Yeah, Ahil. Yes, you picked English. Super. How many of you picked history? Yeah, I see some of you raising your hands for history as well. All right. How many of you picked science? You wanted to pick science and read that. Oh, and so many of you have picked up science. Simple. All right. Thank you. Thank you for all your response. Now I'll give you a very small trick. It's a simple trick with which you can choose science, commerce or arts. Now how do you choose? I want you to listen to me very carefully for the next 1 minute. If you love to study science and maths going forward after your 10th standard, then you should take up science. If you hate science, I'm not able to understand what's happening in science, but you love mathematics, then you should take up commerce as your course. Sir, I hate science. It does not enter my head at all. I hate mathematics. I want to run away from mathematics. Why does mathematics always create so many problems for me? If you are somebody like that, who does not like science, who does not like math, then you should take up a course which is either humanities or arts. So got that, children? So let me just repeat this for you. What should you choose? You should either choose science or commerce or humanities or arts. Now on what basis you will choose? Based on the subjects that you love to read. If you love science and maths, then take up science. If you hate science but you like mathematics, you love numbers, then take up commerce. You hate science, you hate maths, you love history, you love economics, you love languages, then take up arts. It's as simple as that. Clear? So this is what is the prerequisite. As what I told you, if you want to take up science, then what should be the prerequisites? You should have a good hold in math and science. You should study for at least 4 hours a day, and you should be good at solving problems. What should be the prerequisite if you need to take up commerce? You should have a love for numbers and data. You should have the ability to like theory. Analytical and logical ability should be there. Who will love humanities or arts? You should have a liking for theory. Now some of us are like this, right? You love to keep reading theory, while the others, oh my god, it is only theory. How I don't love to by heart. I don't like to read. Now if you are somebody who likes to read and you have a liking for theory, then you should take up humanities or arts. You should have very good social, artistic, linguistic and interpersonal skills if you want to do really an amazing job in humanities or arts. Now I have a small animation here. It's a basic animation, so don't look at this and laugh at this animation. This is something that I just created with the animation that I know. This is a very important slide. Now I told you, post 12th standard you have 3 options, right? 1, commerce. The second one, arts or humanities, and the third one is science. Now what will happen if you choose science? You can either, if you take up science even after your 12th standard, if you don't want to continue your career in science, you can either jump to arts or you can jump to commerce. Now, very important, I want you to listen to this. If you choose science after your 10th standard, you study science for the next 2 years. After your second PUC or 12th standard, if you don't want to continue in science and get into arts or commerce, you can do that. If you take up arts or commerce, you can never get back into science in the future. So let me repeat. If you take up science after your 10th standard, even after your second PUC, you can either branch into science, or you can take up arts, or you can take up commerce. If you choose arts or commerce after your 10th standard, then you will be restricted only to arts and commerce. You cannot take up science in the future. So the point of this slide is, science opens up a lot of options for you. So that's one of the reasons why science is a very popular course. So if you are confused about what to do, then the best option is take up science. At the end of second PUC, you would have figured out what is it that you love to do, what is it that you hate to do. Based on that, you can choose a career path. All right. So before I end, I would like to once again show the hard reality. Now, what is the hard reality? Your first job depends upon which stream or course you choose now if you are currently in your 10th standard. So make it a point that you choose wisely. If you do not choose, then you will end up taking something by chance. Somebody has forced you. My parents told me take this, my brother told me take this. Clear? So you'll end up doing something by chance. I don't want you to do anything like that. You need to choose what you want to do. And remember, you choose what you choose. So happy choosing, all of you. Hope you really choose something that you will love to do for the rest of your lifetime. If you have any questions related to this session or something else, you can reach out to me. This is my email address. If you want, you can make a note of this. I'll be sharing this to your teachers as well, who will in turn keep in touch with you if at all you want to reach out to me for anything that you did not understand as a part of this presentation.
I think, sir, there are a lot of hands raised. Looks like they have a few questions.
I'm happy to answer the questions.
Great.
Ma'am.
Lovely. So I think I'll first start with Sahaj.
Yeah.
Sahaj, you can unmute and ask your question.
Ma'am, I forgot to keep my hand down.
Is it? All right.
Oh.
So can we have you all lower your hands if you don't have a question, so I can just ask those who wish to ask?
Ma'am, can we do this? I have a few questions that are there in the chat box. So can we finish?
All right.
Can we finish that
okay,
and come?
we'll go. That should be fine. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go
So
ahead.
I have a question from Syed Ayan, and Syed says, "Sir, what if you have interest in two fields?" Yes, that's very much possible. If you have an interest in two fields, I want you to identify which is your primary field. Now, I know you will have multiple interests. Now, let me just give you my own example. I love to talk. I love to take pictures. I'm a photographer as well. I love to play cricket. I'm a cricketer. I love to sing. I'm a musician as well, right? So these are some of the things that I'm good at. But what did I do? I chose what should be my priority, or what is something that will give me a very good job. So I chose a profession that is involved with respect to talking, and that is my teaching profession. Now, when I'm involved in teaching, nobody can stop me from taking pictures. Nobody can stop me from playing cricket. Nobody can stop me from singing. So you will have to identify what is your priority. So write down all your interests, clear, and prioritize them. Give them numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 based on the extent with which you like this interest. Clear? So I hope this should help you. Choose the first priority, whatever the priority that you gave as number 1. Pick that interest and then start finding out which job you should take up. Can we take, okay, where is computer science in all of this? Is it in science? Yeah, so computer science is either in engineering. So I spoke about engineering, right? Engineering has computer science. You can also take up computer science with a course called as BCA, which is called as Bachelor of Computer Applications. So you can either do your BE, Bachelor of Engineering in Computer Science, or you can take up BCA, Bachelor of Computer Applications. Clear? So this is what you can do.
Can we take a couple of questions who'd just like to ask you?
Yes,
maybe?
Definitely, ma'am. Yeah.
Great. Okay, Richa, you want to ask your question?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, sir. First of all, thank you for this really innovative session. I'm sure it benefited all of us. I had a question.
Yes, Richa, go ahead.
And 12th are those crucial years where you have to write board exams and where you'll be rewarded marks. Do those marks matter in the future?
Good question that you're asking me. So I'll just put it in a very simple term. Can you watch a movie? Can you enter a movie theater without a movie ticket? No, right? But the moment you enter the theater, the moment you are seated in the theater, once you are halfway into the movie, is the ticket really necessary?
Not really.
Not really. So even if you tear the ticket out there, is there somebody who's going to throw you out of the theater?
No.
No, it's as simple as that. So your marks card is like an entry ticket. Depending upon your marks that you scored, you will end up getting into a good college. Depending upon the college that you choose, you will end up in a very good job. So until you enter your job, your marks matter. But the moment you enter your job, marks does not matter. I hope you understand.
Yes, sir.
So which means if you want to land up in a good job, your marks definitely does matter. The moment you are in that job, marks really does not matter. What matters is how you work in a team, how you really respond to situations when a responsibility is given to you, how you handle leadership, how you handle dissent in your team, how you manage people that are there around you. All these things matter. Got that, Richa?
That was a brilliant response, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think we are running out of time, although
Yes.
there are a lot of them. I can see they would like to have more questions answered.
Yeah.
Children, will try and probably look at another session sometime later for a question answer round, because it was really informative. Very intriguing. I can actually see a lot of them still asking me questions on, children. We'll just have to or pass on the questions. We'll see how we can have that answer.
Yeah.
However, thank you so much, Mr. Karthik Krishnan, for this wonderful session. I think it opened up our mindsets. It opened up a lot of options. I think a lot of us who weren't aware of a lot of things have become aware of it now. Thank you once again. It was such a pleasure having you. And thank you, children, for joining us. I'm sure this session would have benefited everybody in some way or the other. Thank you, sir, again, and have a great weekend ahead.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I wish all of you and the participants out there as well a very happy weekend. Thank you so much for inviting me for the session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.